He's an offset coach. Yeah, guy soccer, man.
You that for Christmas?
Oh, soccer, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of big there. You know, I don't know if you remember the Columbus Crew, Brian Mazanoff was a player. He played for the US team. It's really kind of big thing. So he's their coach. He's I think coach. Been coach for like 3 years. So, but man, yeah, you know, like I say, he played probably in 2 World Cups at least. Yeah. So yeah, he was kind of a big
Who
deal.
was the Columbus guy that played like the early 2000s?
Brian McBride.
McBride, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure what Brian, I mean, I think he lives in Chicago.
Oh, does he?
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I can play. Yeah, I had carpet out, so that was like 2 weeks ago. Well, I know, and then this one here there's just a little stitch.
Thank you, Phil.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
what you needed?
Yeah, appreciate it. Very good.
But yeah, feel.
Can you move it?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, this one's.
That's it?
That's it.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. The guy cut.
I'll take that stitch out for it.
I could do that.
Yes.
Drawer Caesars over there, Jamie.
That's fine.
I could do that. It's not shoe that thing. But this hand was rubber. You see how it's on the black and blue.
Yeah.
This one didn't have it.
You might be able to print it out if you.
I don't know. Well, they just out of this area. Yeah, they like spray this. Yeah, oh, yeah. No, so I'm laying on my back and they do put
See, Carol's out
second
right
$100. They take you on. I did okay first time. Like it's got a camera on the end of it. And carpal tunnel still working. There's a
Probably not.
roads shut and. No, but this isn't, this comes.
Been sitting around
down over here. So they cut that.
Not a job,
Gives
no.
no space here. So all there is to reassemble. Because it's from a you know, I did this.
You ready?
I had to do.
Yes, we are. You guys ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Ready? I'd like to call the January meeting of the City of Columbus Traffic Commission to order. Is there any preliminary business? Please. Nothing preliminary. Okay, call first case, GC 21-045, 1550 Kenny Road. Would the applicant please come forward? Swear to tell all truth, nothing but truth, so help you God.
I did.
Would you repeat your name for the record and your affiliation to this case?
David Hodge, attorney for the applicant and property owner.
You?
You need to swear these guys in.
That is correct. Thank you. Swear to tell all truth, nothing but truth, so help you God.
I do.
Would you repeat your names for the record and your affiliation to the cases?
Jamie Free, City of Columbus staff.
Bill Bennett, City of Columbus staff. Thank you. All right, first case, who's doing this one? Bill.
Thank you. 1550 Kenny Road is located on the east side of Kenny Road, approximately 200 feet south of King Avenue, served by the 5th by Northwest Area Commission, AR3 apartment residential. 1 acre site is currently being redeveloped with a 71-unit apartment building and associated surface parking and garage, which would be accessed from Kenny Road. Surrounding uses include a city school center to the west, a gas station, and a car wash to the north, a single-unit dwelling to the east, and apartments to the south. The applicant proposes to install a 34.8 square foot identifying wall sign on the top floor of the front, approximately 25 feet from the right of way. Variance is to increase the maximum height of a residential complex sign from 12 feet to 57 feet, and that is found in the residential. The 5th by Northwest Area Plan and C2P2 state that new signage should be designed to be logical and complementary of the overall design of the storefront. The size, design, and placement of the proposed sign are complementary to the overall building and therefore consistent with C2P2. Fifth by Northwest Area Commission recommended approval of the request, and city departments can recommend approval. The proposal is consistent with the area plan in C2P2 in that the sign's size, design, and placement are logical and complementary to the overall design.
Thank you. Hodge, present your case.
Sure. Thanks again, David Hodge, attorney for the applicant. This request is, I know, similar to some requests, several requests that this commission has seen over the course of the last several years. It's really an oddity of the graphics code that this type of signage is not even considered in the residential sections of the code. In the commercial sections of the graphics code, you can name buildings, and that's done all over the place, different office buildings, but that was never contemplated in our graphics code as it's presently written. And so anytime someone wants to name a building like this for residential use, you have to come through this process and get a variance to the requirement that says you can't have it higher than 12 feet. So again, supported by staff, supported by the underlying planning documents, supported unanimously by the Fifth Line Northwest Area Commission. Seems like an appropriate application here on Kenny Road, and with that, talking and do my best to answer.
Thank you. I'm assuming from the drawings that the blade sign is no longer part of the proposal.
That is correct. That is correct. The zoning committee at the Fifth by Northwest Area Commission had some questions about that. We disagree with their opinion, but we decided rather than fight that battle with them to remove it from the proposal, and we went ahead to the full commission without that being part of the request. So the only thing before the commission is the flush sign there on this.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Anyone else who would like to speak in this case? Seeing no one, do I have a motion of finding fact?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the presenter, Mr. Hodge, has provided the facts of this case truly. I believe that this should move on and be passed.
So based on the facts presented, you recommend approval?
Yes, based on the facts presented, I recommend approval.
Could you state a hardship, Mr. Hodge?
Yeah, so I love this topic of discussion, Chairman Thompson. When we talk about hardship, I don't think I'm under an obligation, interestingly, to prove hardship. I do think I'm under an obligation to prove practical difficulty. And I would say in this case that the proposal before you is appropriate, that the graphics code was drafted at a time when density tasted like a swear word in people's mouths. Our community was not seeing this type of multi-story, 4, 5, 6-story apartment residential, and therefore this type of proposal was not contemplated. And on that basis, there's a practical difficulty in that our city desperately needs to rewrite its code, desperately needs to rewrite its graphics code. Is currently in the process of doing just that. And it's my expectation that one of the things that our city administration will evaluate as they're rewriting that zoning code is what types of variances both this commission and the Board of Zoning Adjustment have seen repeatedly, and they will codify those things so that guys like me aren't getting paid by property owners to come conduct hearings like this.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of use of the motion, you sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I will have a motion for passage of the petition based on the finding of fact.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. So based on the finding of facts, all presented by the staff and the applicant, that the variance should be granted.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We call roll.
Mr. Bender,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Chair Thompson.
Yes, and it's a very effective.
Thank you all. Great seeing everybody.
The next case is GC 21-047, 575 Otis Road. With the applicant, please come forward. Sir, Clerk, I'll hold you enough to introduce yourself to God.
I did.
Could you repeat your name for the record and your affiliation to this case?
Yes, my name is Jared Norton with Morrison Sign Company, company producing and installing this stuff.
Thank you, sir. Who's doing this one? Hi. Please.
Okay, I'm taking over for Sierra, who's not sick today, so this is her report, I will present it. 575 Ovets Road is located at the northeast corner of Parsons Avenue and Ovets Road. Site is zone R rural, lies within the far south Columbus area commission. The site is currently developed with a religious facility. Surrounding uses include single unit dwellings to the north, south, and the east, and subdivision to the west. The applicant proposes to replace the existing ground sign with a double-sided aluminum ground sign. Variances are requested to increase the allowable graphic area for an identification sign from 64 square feet to 85 square feet, and to allow an automatic changeable copy sign in the R rural district. Planning does not support the application as requested. That would support a landscape monument style sign with proposed sign height. On the citywide planning policies, discourage pole signs and recommend monument style signs in suburban areas. Furthermore, C2, P2 discourages automatic changeable copy signs. As such, planning does not support the automatic changeable copy sign as proposed, but would support a landscape monument style sign at the proposed height. Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the far south Columbus Area Commission recommends approval.
Thank you, sir.
Well, again, just to summarize, staff is recommending this approval because as stated above, Columbus citywide planning policies recommend a monument style sign in suburban areas, and thus staff does not support the proposed sign as presented. However, staff would support the landscape monument style sign with unmixable copy. That is what the commission has supported in the past, unmixable copy for institutional uses, provided that it's monument style. And with that, I turn it over to the applicant.
Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. So as stated, this is a situation where the existing sign, as you can see on the screen there, is in need of some updating. That existing sign actually measures 6 foot high by 10 foot wide in the graphic area there where you have the logo and the changeable copy. Our proposed sign, where I would classify the graphic area to measure 4'11" by roughly 10 foot. So we're actually reducing the square footage of the sign here, and we're replacing that existing sign. So I just want to be clear, we're not adding signage to the site, we're taking signage away. You could argue that. And a little background on this whole project started 3 years ago, before COVID began, and it's taken this long to kind of get to this step with the effects of COVID. And being that it is 2022, this church had budgeted and saved for an electronic message center sign that they can easily update efficiently for their community. And in our opinion, it's a fair request. We understand we're here because this is a church zone residential, therefore there's no code that allows a sign like this. That is our hardship. We feel that because of the way this property is currently zoned, that's why we're here. That's what we're up against. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any more questions. And I will add that the Far South Area Commission supported this sign as designed. I believe it was all in favor.
Sir, Mr. Norton, what would be the difficulty in making this a monument sign?
There's really no difficulty in making it a monument sign. This is a design that the church commission and the church board has, collectively come together, put their heads together and come up with. I think their thought process was to make a sign that's a little bit unique. Doesn't look like every other sign in the community. I will add that I have talked to the church and their plan is to landscape around the sign. So I don't have a landscape plan right now, but I would assume you'd see some 12 to 18 inch evergreen type shrubs around the perimeter of the sign. So you would not see that big of a void, I guess, between those pole covered there. But again, it could be made a monument sign, but this is the design that the church is in favor of. right
Are
now.
the existing supports being reused or something?
No, no. The sign's moving altogether.
I don't really see a reason why we couldn't just lower it a little bit and make it a monument sign. I don't know what the. Any questions?
So the existing sign is 10 foot tall right now. Right, 6 foot?
So the existing sign right now, the graphic area, so that top cabinet there
Yeah.
measures 10 foot wide
Yeah.
by 6 foot tall.
Yeah, but the overall height of that sign,
It's 3'6" on the base plus the 6 foot. So you're right about 10 foot.
yeah, so the new sign you're putting in is gonna be shorter than what's there now.
That is correct.
And then the square footage of the signage, I mean, really, when I look at it, the graphic part of it is 6 foot wide, maybe 5 foot tall, it's like 30 square feet of graphic.
It's right. It's
But-
not a lot of graphic area being used.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of, the churches that we've passed, that we've, granted variances for, because I know along McNaughton Road and so forth, there's been a lot of these granted. Part of the hardship is the changeability aspect during the bad weather and all that kind of stuff. It's been kind of it. But I don't, in my opinion, it seems like you're putting in a less small, well, I think it's more functional. I think it is way more functional having this type of sign. And it's smaller than what you have. I kind of like the space underneath it, because if you have if you do tag on there that, hey, we will put the landscaping in there, whatever it may be, taxes, whatever, I think that would do the sign real justice there, because you'd be filling in that space under there.
I agree.
So that's just my,
I don't have as much of a problem with it if you're gonna landscape it, I guess. But I would want to see it landscaped.
Are there specific plants that have to be put in place to landscape the base of the sign? Are there parameters that the city requires?
There's nothing in the code. It's based on submittal and then review.
Okay,
Typically it'd have to be some sort of evergreen, I would assume.
yeah, something that's, there year round.
Right. So if the commission were to approve based on that condition, you'd have to come up with language that we could use as a condition to go to the commission board.
Right.
Jamie, has live planting ever been considered part of the sign? Sign.
What?
Does live planting, has it ever been considered a part of the sign?
Live planting? No. Not be part of the sign.
So you have 37 inches of clear space below the sign as designed.
Correct. Correct.
Because I think there's two options. One is to just fill that in and call it a monument style sign, and the city would be happy. Or put language in that states that the landscape's got to be put in place that gets to the height that's going to cover that up.
Does anybody have any wording they want to recommend? That they must provide some landscaping and plantings to fill the void below the sign itself.
If I might add, I believe that we in the client would prefer to do the landscaping, if that's on the table, to kind of fill that void and make it look more full there at the bottom. I think this sign, if we were to just fill in the bottom area where you see white currently, in my opinion, is going to look a little bare. I mean, I know we could try to spruce it up, but it just looks like a lot of space wasted on just aluminum.
Yeah.
I think with plantings at the base would look pretty nice there below the sign.
I don't
Well-
think I would like that either.
I would say that, and that's also assuming that we would approve that look with aluminum. We would probably, I'm sure planning would want some sort of brick or matching material, so there's also that, but.
functionally, I think it's great to have landscaping, because then you don't have mowing problem, the mower running into the sign. Kind of adds more of a perimeter around the sign with landscaping.
And provide an idea.
Sure.
There are a couple overlays that do provide standards for monument signs for landscaping, and they specify a certain distance, I think, 2 feet away from the sign around the whole ground sign and a specific height. So that's an example of how you could word that.
Is that something we could add to that?
I think we would be open to agreeing to that, yes.
Okay, then do I have a motion with conditions?
Yeah, I'll try this. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we move to approval for this, for the variance, first variance for the 64 square feet to 85 square feet based on the height of the sign coming down, and two, to allow the illuminated automatic changeable sign based on a condition that a 2-foot perimeter of landscape goes completely around the sign, so 2 feet out from every edge of the sign, landscaped with a planting plan that includes evergreen shrubs that are going to eventually fill that 3-foot 1-inch height. So whether it's brick, soil, and landscape, it needs to cover that space.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
If you're all in favor, you sign aye.
Aye.
Now, before I call the approval though, was there anyone else that wanted to speak to this case? Not seeing anyone, let's vote on this. I need a motion for approval, I guess.
I didn't hear a second.
I'll move that we approve this for the finding of fact motion that was approved.
Oh, I would second that.
Can we call the roll?
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yeah.
Mr. Bender?
Yes.
Chair Johnson?
Yes, and it is approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for your time.
Is there any other businesses, Bruce?
No, that's it for today.
Then we're adjourned.
Butcher up the first.
Okay. Just right a little closer. Keep that with you for the.
Boiler room. Well, Phil and Jamie, good to see you guys. Really short.